Hey all, I'm Kyan here to bring you another Fallout challenge. Having Gojira do all the work was pretty fun and chaotic last time, but let's try something a bit more challenging. Something that you've recommended. And I've already tried this with Snuffles, so let's go by the same rules. We have to keep Primm Slim alive at all costs, no letting him take a hit he cannot recover from. Or else, I'll have to reload, and absolutely no using companions to help out in battle. So, let's see if I can pull this one off without losing my sanity. And so, can you eat Fallout New Vegas while keeping Primm Slim alive? A tickle to the brain and a weird dream later in the career now believes to be Vicky from the Vicky Advanced Casino and Museum. The stats I'm gonna go with are 9 in agility and luck, 8 endurance, 7 strength, 5 intelligence, and 1 in both perception and charisma. For the skills I tagged guns, lockpick, and speech, and as for the traits I went with built to destroy and skilled. Then I took everything I thought could be useful from the good doctor's house. He gave me a Pip-Boy, and so we begin our pilgrimage to Primm. The DLCs keep trying to deter us, but nothing, and I mean nothing, will stand between me and getting to Primm Slim. Especially because I've just decided that I cannot engage in combat or loot anything else until we recruit him. On the way I get the map marker for Gene skydiving, ran past a couple young gecko hunters, and was told that Primm was off limits, except it really isn't. It's just been taken over by escaped convicts, as the NCR stares dumbfounded instead of, doing something about it, so we'll have to show him how it's done. I deactivated 3 mines as if I had any idea how, felt like Swiss cheese right after, and entered the Vicky Advanced Casino and Museum, where Johnson Ash tells us the obvious and then introduces himself as the one running the local Mojave Express outpost. I ask him about the package we were supposed to deliver and if he's seen a man in a checkered suit. And as fortune would have it, he knows someone that did. Although Deputy Beagle has been captured by the convicts. Nash then finally shuts up, and lo and behold, Primm Slim!
Howdy, partner. Welcome to the Vicky Advanced Casino and Museum.
Tell me about me.
Where have you been, partner? Hiding under a rock? Vicky Advanced were this nation's 4th or maybe 5th most infamous celebrity outlaw couple ever. That's who they was. Primm Slim here can tell you the whole story.
No, that's enough. Thank you though. Now, to force recruit him, I really like this mod called JIP Companions Command and Control. It's awesome. I then grab the weather 10mm, equip the lightweight leather armor, go back outside for some payback, and what a start. Fine, I'll reload. This isn't how I remember Primm Slim. Dude was tanky the last time I did a very evil run. Well, trying to stay neutral. But no matter, I just have to take care of everyone and everything before they take care of him. So that's exactly what I do. I took their loot, said hello to Courier 4, the poor bastard, and in Nash's residence, Primm Slim was having a collision party. Anyways, I got me some of Ruby's casserole, started looking for magazines, but only found a bobby pin. And that's when I noticed that Primm Slim is not following me. Oh boy. So I tried forcing him to move, but he didn't, and that's worrisome. But I have a solid plan in case he's bugged, so into the Bison Steve Hotel, where he teleports to with me. I take down the first convict, and that stupid tin can seems to be paralyzed with fear. Before going to face the escaped convict later, I made sure to grab the mercenary's grenade rifle and turn the convicts into dust. I got their loot and went on to meet Deputy Beagle, but not without pickpocketing his journal first.
I don't suppose you came here to rescue me.
You suppose wrong, my good bitch. Though I did have to threaten him to stand by my side and help if more convicts come our way. This coward just wanted to run.
This is most unusual.
I then took care of the last convict, and good thing that he was just hiding. He could have gone to Primm Slim. I kept on looting, found the skill book, but didn't have enough lockpicking to get me lucky. A unique revolver. Once outside, the deputy asks us to go and find the sheriff, since we all know he ain't gonna step up to the role. We also know that Primm Slim's coming with. One way or another, he will. Trust me. And that leaves us with 2 choices. Either go and find Myers, who's at the NCR Correctional Facility, or hand the keys of the town to the NCR. And upon seeing the state of Primm and the lack of initiative from the NCR, yeah, we're gonna go with Myers. And who got tired of cosplaying as a statue and started walking at a snail's pace? Primm Slim. I guess he just didn't feel like walking. No clue why. I never had an issue with his mod, so I'm just gonna blame it on him being a robot. And good thing he started moving, cause my backup plan was simply to bring Deputy Beagle along. At least that way, if I didn't have something to protect, I'd have someone. But alas, as I'm making my way to the NCR Correctional Facility, some bloatflies are aggroed in the distance. Best not to take any chances, so I went over there and dealt with them before I got ahead, and they went to harass my protege. And good thing that I noticed the powder charge before getting to the powder gangers. And speaking of which, right... Thus wants to shake me up on 100 cups, and I didn't really sell anything to anyone yet. Well, it's as good a time as any to backtrack and make some dough, so I went back to Good Springs and looted everything that might be useful. Magazines, skill books, ammo, weapons, star caps, fission batteries, the weapon repair kit, you name it, I got it. I also went to the schoolhouse, fought the giant mantises, unlocked the safe for that sweet stealth boy and reached level 2. I put the points into lockpick, took the Black Widow perk, and before I knew it, Primm Slim was down to 1/3 of his health. Huh? Then I go outside and it's completely replenished, that's odd. Because the way this whole thing works is that I have to manually steam pack anything I force recruit. What's happening? Again, maybe it's because it's a robot, but no matter. As long as he doesn't die in combat, we're golden. I then went on to buy a shovel and sell things I didn't need to chat, and to visit Sunny for the extra bobby pins and magazine. In the back of the saloon, I got some more valuables to sell later, and then I met Victor. I thanked him for digging me up, and as I was waiting to make it daytime for better lighting, Malcolm Holmes shows up. Unfortunately for him, I don't like being followed, unless it's by Primm Slim, of course. In the cemetery, I got me some more ammo, found the snow globe, and visited the old apartment for the last time. Then, on the way back, I went to Gene skydiving for, you guessed it, more loot. And we're finally ready to go and spend 100 cups just so we can meet Myers. And as luck would have it, he seems to fit the bill.
I was a sheriff, believe it or not, for a small town far to the west of here. Short version is that sometimes justice is a little slow. I helped speed it up one too many times.
Fine by me. We're in a post-nuclear apocalypse. There's a time and a place to advocate for due process. It's just not on this run. However, there's a caveat. We need to get him a pardon from the NCR. And for that, we're gonna have to travel to the Mojave outpost. So I made sure Primm Slim's still following me instead of simply staring into the abyss. And it's becoming more and more apparent that with his speed, I can't afford the chances of running past enemies. We'll have to make sure the route he's going on is secure, cause I sure as hell am not gonna be walking beside him at his pace. Oh, and by the way, you see that red cross in his character thingy? That just means that he's more far away than he should. Fortunately, I can just wait 1 hour and he will, ideally, spawn beside me. And I say ideally because that special cookie can be stubborn. Either way, the jackals didn't pose that much of a threat, especially when I remembered about the sturdy caravan shotgun. And right after came a bunch of red scorpions from nearby. They are usually easy to avoid, but I got greedy. I saw Primm Slim by the Nevada Highway Patrol Station and wanted to make a beeline. In the end, I just lost more time than if I had went slightly around, but nevertheless, we reached the Mojave outpost. I go to Major Knight, and he accepts 200 cups to pardon Myers. Ah yes, the sweet taste of corruption. What the Major doesn't tell us, because I didn't pass the dialogue check, is that Myers was so close to getting released that they wouldn't even care. So yeah, they take the 200 cups because I offered it. But oh well, back to Primm, the town's got a new sheriff, and I get to level 3. On the way to Nipton, a bark scorpion had it coming, and right before the town, Jacqueline really wanted Thomas's star caps. And as per usual, he kicks her backstabbing ass. Also, as per usual, I took both their 10mm, leather armors, and star caps. No won the lottery, he did. Vulpes then goes on a ramble about degenerates as if he wasn't both dressed and acting like one. But I better not put Primm Slim into unnecessary danger. So when he tasks me with spreading the word of what happened to the town, I agree. And go back to the Mojave outpost so we can inform Sergeant Kilborn of exactly that, and man, he's a doomer. After going back, I sent another bark scorpion to heaven. Noticed the viper on the distance, one that's a part of a group I'd rather avoid. they have a grenade rifle too. So by going around, I finally noticed the Legion, which means that is the way to go. I pass through Wolfhorn Ranch and go into its shack to pick up Chopper and another skill book. Then we get to Camp Searchlight, where First Sergeant Oster warns us about the place being now a ghoul-infested microwave. But since we're gonna have to come back later to visit Cottonwood Cove, I decide to press on and get a couple nice map markers before heading towards Novak. And all this, well, Primm Slim decides to not move past Oster. It's both a blessing and a curse, but most of all, it's not what I expected of this run. But hey, you asked for this. A couple ghouls later, and we reach Sniper's Nest. I get all the ammo the place has around, and I make my way to Cottonwood Overlook, where I'm gonna open a certain trailer door. Don't know why it took so long for the rest of the barrels to set up camp in the cove, but it all worked out in the end. And this is enough to turn the place into a mass graveyard. We can now safely loot everything, all of their goodies and ammo, the Machete Gladius, and even some Legion Patrol notes. And for some reason, one of the Legionnaires is completely unaffected by the radiation. What even is this run? Anyways, I go back to Aster to tell him the news, give him the notes, and this triggers both levels 4 and 5. I take the Educated perk, put Lockpick to 80, and spend the extra points on guns. Then, on the way to Novak, an NCR Ranger interrupts us to tell us that the NCR have noticed our goodwill towards them, and therefore they gift us an emergency radio that I won't use. It's still a nice gesture though. Still before Novak, a group of Vipers are a bit of a menace, so with Primm Slim right behind me, I take out my grenade rifle and turn them into a 10,000 piece puzzle. And in the town we see Victor, who is absolutely not following us. I then go to the Dino D-Light front desk because I know that Ginny May has a dark secret. I make sure she's watching me, open her safe, and get a little bill of sale. One that proves that she is the one that sold Boone's wife to the Legion. And as you can guess, she's not pleased about it, so sucks to be her. What I wasn't expecting was for this to be enough to vilify me by the entire town. But oh hell, they'll find a way to live with it. And as I was going to the dinosaur, I noticed some of the locals fire at me, which means I gotta protect Primm Slim. Fortunately, it was just the Novak settlers, and those are pretty basic. Cliff Briscoe then runs away from me, even though I wanted to sell some junk, but you know what? This is okay. Cause behind the locked door, we're gonna find that gun. And what a great name that gun has. I even made sure to take every single rocket and dinky souvenirs, cause I like the idea of a courier that's hoarding all that. For some reason though, a Novak settler thought it was a great idea to come after us. It wasn't. For her. And then I go on to meet Manny, who's absolutely positive that he's seen a man in a checkered suit. But he won't tell us anything about it unless we help him out. But by help, he wants us to clear out a fuck ton of ghouls and nightkin as if I was the Terminator incarnate. He even throws it to my face that he just wanted to make it easier on us, so I just show him what easier on me looks like by stealing his holotape. We now know that our next stop is gonna be Boulder City, and Cliff Briscoe has stopped running, which is awesome because I was over encumbered. I really didn't want to leave anything behind before getting some caps out of it. Boone then goes on to say that he will only talk to us when he's working, so I wait until his shift begins. Here I am staring at a dinosaur for hours until it's nighttime, and eventually Boone goes on to tell us he knows his wife was sold to the Legion, and he really wants to find out who did it. And that's exactly why I came prepared, as I was itching to tell him it was Ginny May and that I already had the proof. The option simply wasn't there. So I went in and out. I waited too. The option simply isn't there. So we'll just pin it on Manny and tell Boone that we wanted him to kill him, which is not a lie, but it's a half-truth. Ain't my fault he wouldn't listen, I tried. We're villains, not monsters. And honestly, getting a couple first Reckon berets isn't too shabby either. In fact, I'm gonna be wearing one for the extra crits. Oh, and then old lady Gibson was unfortunate enough to be carrying a unique weapon. It's a shame really. But if Obsidian wanted her alive, they would have kept Big Boomer on an icebox. And as we're going to Boulder City, I see a couple more Vipers on the distance who again also have a grenade rifle. So I use mine before they can make use of theirs. This gets us to level 6, I put the points into speech, which I won't use against Linneus or Oliver, and then take the comprehension perk. I also repaired my leather armor and took a nap in the Eldorado gas and service. Primm Slim's health changed again, but he's not at full health, and I have no clue why robots act different than Snuffles, or Gojira, or humans. Then I noticed the lonesome drifter in my thirst for unique weapons just can't leave the mysterious Magnum behind. And I also like his guitar, so yeah. In Boulder City we meet Private Kowalski. He's paying his respects.
What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial.
Oh, sorry man, it was just trigger fingers. I didn't mean it.
Alright, apology accepted. Don't let it happen again.
I did mean it. But since I couldn't get him to care again, it was no longer fun. So I keep on going and we meet Lieutenant Hayes, who tells us that he's got a situation with some great cons. The ones we're after, to be exact. They managed to take a couple NCR members as hostages, but they're also cornered and holed up in one of the buildings, so we offered to help out.
What the hell? You're that courier Benny wasted back in Good Springs. You're supposed to be dead.
Ooh, I'm a ghost.
Alright, quit fucking around. You survived and you tracked us down.
He then goes on to say that Benny betrayed them, to which I politely remind him that I'd very much like both my platinum chip and my revenge on Benny. This triggers level 7, so I put the conversation on hold, put speech to 45 and spend the rest of it on guns. Back to Jessup, and we can now convince him that if he lets the hostages go, we'll get the NCR to let them leave. He agrees. I go back to the lieutenant, who tells us of his new problem. He's got direct orders to take down the cons. Which, of course, it only happens after I give them my word. So I tell him to honor the deal, reminding him that he's got free will, and that does it. No dialogue check, no nothing. We just have to pinch his own thoughts on his own integrity. And now that we know where to go, to the New Vegas trip, there's a couple things I'd like to do on the way. First, I get the El Dorado substation map marker for later, since it's so close to the 188 trading post. Victor then shows up, late, as he always does for this interaction in Boulder City. He's still absolutely not following us. I then go on to say hi to my favorite keychain, even though I cannot use her on this one. And I sell some stuff that I won't need to the arms merchant. And the way from here to Freeside is a breeze. When I get close to the NCR sharecropper farm, I get Camp McCarran's map marker and then keep going until the gun runners. I make a couple more good deals, for me, and since today is all about Primm Slim, I can't forget that the poor thing has been tinkered with to not realize that Vance's gun has been stolen. And well, as Vicky, I want it back. So we go around Freeside until we reach the H&H Tools factory, and I keep an eye out for a certain unmarked shack, the Wind's hideout. And here we meet Sammy and Pauline.
You best not try any funny business, stranger. One word from me, and Vance will plant you in the ground.
They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. In fact, Pauline, why haven't I heard of you two before?
We ain't never heard of you either, so the not being impressed is mutual.
Fine. What's your plan?
Sammy and me got our hands on a powerful weapon not too long ago. Vance's gun. You know Vance, of Vance and Vicky? That gun's our shot at the big time. We're gonna sneak it in on the strip and rob one of the casinos. Maybe all of them. We'll be known as the greatest gunslingers to ever terrorize the wastelands.
Now, if I read the magazine, I'll be able to tell them just how awesome their plan is. So yeah, that's what I do.
Really? You think so? We've only got the one gun and there's two of us. And we've never done anything like this before. We've never been on the strip either, so we don't know how many guards the casinos have. And I kept having these nightmares. What are we thinking? We're gonna get ourselves killed. Look, tell Sammy to give you the gun, all right? Just take it.
And we thought we can just tell Sammy to give us Primm Slim's favorite gun.
Really? Oh, thank God. I love that woman, but I swear this time she was gonna get us killed.
So I get the gun, and that's not the only thing they took from the Vicky and Vance Casino and Museum. So I put Vance's 9mm submachine gun to use and retrieve the other two goodies I had my sights set to. Their hats. In Freeside, I take care of a dumb thug that tried to ambush me. Help the kid that really wants a giant rat for dinner.
Thanks, lady.
And old Ben warns us to not go past the Securitrons without talking to them first. I passed the 2000 cap check, helped the richest man in New Vegas not having to deal with a squatter, and got greeted by Victor. Oh, and Billy's got jokes.
People say it's hard to survive the wasteland. Hey, how hard can it be? The water glows in the dark, and it burns.
I then got all the free magazines I could and made my way into the tops. The greeter asks me to disarm, which is no biggie, and we finally go on to meet Benny.
What in the goddamn?
Hey Benny, when he shot me, you ran off so fast I never got your name.
You making a pass at me, sister? because I'm out of your league.
Is it so wrong to want someone that shoots you in the head?
Those bullets scramble your egg? Or have you always been a naughty broad?
You know girls like bad boys.
You're one sick pussycat, baby. There's Quinn's, and then there's... I don't even know what to call you.
I dig you, that's all.
I hear dig from you, babe, and all I can think of is a shovel.
Oh man, I love that last bit. Anyways, yeah, Benny ends up agreeing to some fucky.
Benny's gonna show you the tops. I hope you're built sturdy, you crazy broad. You're platinum, pussycat. You know how to swing. Nice Charlies, too. Give him a shake for the Ben man, will you? Hello.
Unfortunately for him, though, we can just kill him once he falls asleep, so yeah. We got the platinum chip back, and his unique weapon too, Maria. The level up then distracted me, so I started going back, took the toughness perk, and eventually remembered that we're not done here. I still need to find the whole Securitron that cannot say no. Yes Man then goes on about every single detail of Benny's plan, and one thing becomes clear. Even with the platinum chip, Benny never had a chance of getting his way, cause he wasn't ever invited to visit the Lucky 38. We, however, have a red carpet awaiting us, but we're also gonna have to meet 5 different factions to get this show on the road. And once outside, it's Vulpes who shows up, all suited up, with an invitation. This time to go and meet Kaiser. Oh, and that we're completely forgiven for what we've done to the Cove, which is nice. Now I may as well go and meet the White Glove Society bosses, Mortimer and Marjorie. This'll be enough for us to ignore them, and then I do the same with the Omerta's greeter. Cause yeah, for some reason that's the only one we need to meet in Gamora. And since the other 3 factions are outside the strip, it's time to go and meet Mr. House. Victor opens up the Lucky 38. House is quite pleased to see us come up, even though we didn't right away. And with the platinum chip in hand, our delivery and our debt to Victor is now repaid. And I'm 1,000 caps heavier. Mr. House goes on to explain that the chip is the key to upgrade his Securitrons to their Mark II, which turns them a lot more deadly than they already were before. As for our next task, he'd like us to go over to Fortification Hill, where Kaiser is located, and to use the chip to also upgrade the whole Securitron army that he had stashed there centuries ago. An idea that I do fancy. Before leaving, I pay a visit to the cocktail lounge, grab another snow globe, and then sell both the ones I got to Jane for a total of 4,000 caps. However, this is the part that Mr. House didn't foresee, as I use the platinum chip to go past his Securitron terminals and Securitrons to access the control room where he is. So I introduce myself in person to everyone's favorite cyborg mummy. And after pondering a bit, I decide to show him Recompense of the Fallen. I think it looks pretty cool, it's simple, it's effective, and it looks like it hurts to get hit by it. This gets me to level 9, I put the points into speech, and since Primm Slim's around, the Securitrons are still aggroed. So yeah, that's probably the reason why the game's companions don't just follow you to the penthouse. I used that gun to take care of the 2 robots, luckily they only targeted me. And then an NCR trooper wants me to go and meet Ambassador Crocker. Ah, Jesus, everyone and their mother wants a piece of the courier. I have no interest in going to meet Dennis though. Instead, I'm gonna focus on the remaining factions that Yes Man wanted us to get to know. On the way to Nellis, a couple raw hamburgers tried to invert the food chain, but that didn't really work out for them. We pass through Field's shack, where I get me some more ammo, Abilene, the unique BB gun, and take a quick nap. And then there's George, the boomer that's not part of the boomers, and this time, I'm the one making a bet to see if he can survive a bombardment. He can't. Primm Slim decided to stick by the shack, and you can see in his character thingy, there's a green F. That means following. Had I told him to wait, you'd be seeing a double V. This really is all part of Primm Slim's master plan to make it easier on me. Anyways, we reach the gate. We're the first person to survive their warm welcome ever since they set up shop in Nellis. And we're introduced to Mother Pearl, who has the dumb idea of telling me that I can either help or not. So I won't. What I'll do is go to the hangars and then to their mess hall and munition storage. Cause we've got so much to loot. All of the combat armor and helmets you could want. Plenty of grenades. They even have missile launchers and missiles aplenty. Another faction down, 2 to go, and up next is gonna be the Great Khans, or rather, their headquarters in Red Rock Canyon. So I fast travel back to Camp McCarran and start going through Finn territory using my beautiful grenade rifle, until it gets out of ammo. Driver Nafly comes to say hello, and it's Maria that gets to take care of the last bit of Finns we need to go through. Then a family of fire geckos showed up to ask you to like and subscribe and to tell me what challenge I should do next. And eventually we reach the canyon, where the weird bit is that we need to go further than the map marker, and that's it. We're done. I mean, kinda. I very much want to steal their turbo before I leave. Back to Gene skydiving, I start making my way to Sloan, and a couple powder gangers shoot me on sight for no reason. And I know it's for no reason, cause the next couple powder gangers I found were just chilling. But you know what I did. We then reach Sloan and meet Snuffles! She's a cutie. I don't have enough medicine skill to heal her leg without reading a magazine, so I do exactly that. Snuffles is now feeling great, and since I prefer being paid with caps rather than with reputation, I go into Sloan's mining office to get me some extra caps that are just there for the taking. And Chomps then warns us about the death claws up north, but I don't need to go there. What I need is to go to Hidden Valley, where some more bark scorpions meet the terrible luck of coming face to face with the courier. I keep on going until near Black Mountain. Marie is not doing enough damage. Primm Slim's hella slow. So I just go into the crater and snatch the Brotherhood password holotape from a patrol that couldn't outrun centaurs. Those guys should have been scribes. Now, since I would have to restock on Steam packs and sell some goodies to make up extra space at some point, I decide to do it now. So I revisit the arms merchant in the 188, the gunrunners Vandertron, Chet, and Doc Mitchell, who I also asked to heal my radiation. One nap later, and apparently some Brotherhood scouts saw me, so I don't really need to use the holotape to get in. Okay. The most overdressed faction in the entire game then asks me to strip, which is fucking rude considering we're role-playing as Vicky. But my love for Primm Slim must keep him out of danger. That and I'd also very much like to survive, so yeah. Anyways, we go on to meet Elder McNamara, who slaps an explosive collar around my neck, and these dudes are really coming across as the wrong type of kinky. Fortunately, it's just a bad first impression, cause our only task is to make an NCR Ranger go away. And we can have all of our clothes and weapons back to do so. What we can't do is go far away without a migraine that I cannot recover from. This is when I remember that I have a whole missile launcher. Dobson gets obliterated. I go back to the Elder, convince him that violence is always the answer, and he tells me that he's got another task for me. Unfortunately for him, he also said that I'm free to leave, so yeah, I don't like explosive collars around my neck. I'm gonna leave now. This will do it for the 5 factions. We've already took care of House, so the last thing on our current checklist is to go to Fortification Hill. But first, I fast travel to Sniper's Nest, read the Locksmith magazine, and get me the Gobby. I do love me the Gobby. And in the Cove, Lacalas is wearing a hazmat suit, because of the past actions that now have been completely forgiven. I hope. I'm kidding, but imagine. Lacalas then starts rowing, I start disarming, and we go on to meet the most dangerous former member of the Followers of the Apocalypse, the leader of the Legion, Edward Sallow, Kaiser, who starts listing every single one of my accomplishments and can't but beg me to fulfill his lifelong dream of filling the ground shake. On the way to the weathering monitoring station, I pay a visit to Melody. A speech check allows us to introduce ourselves as her friends, and this is enough for her to share her problems with us. Anthony, the Legion's Houndmaster, caught her playing with a teddy bear, which apparently isn't allowed, so he took it and gave it to his dogs. And Melody wants it back, so let's go and get it. Anthony and his massive genius decides that the best way to resolve this is to put 4 of his best dogs against me in the arena. And he even gives me a machete to do it, cause yeah, all my weapons have been confiscated, remember? We accept the challenge, and fun fact, the Legion does not allow women to compete in the arena. Or rather, Otho doesn't. Anthony doesn't give a fuck. Primm Slim comes along. At some point the mongrels target him, and this is more the tanky Primm Slim that I remember. Huh. I mean, I'll take it. Finally, the point of this run wasn't his low health. That was the point for the Snuffles one. Primm Slim's point is that he is stupidly slow and followed 4 Eyebot levels of useless in combat. Regardless, Anthony lost 4 of his best dogs.
Take the bear.
And then he goes on to confuse me by saying that my stuff is in the crate next to the arena entrance. All this as the game is still telling me that I already did get all of my stuff back, so I go back to the chest, dumbfounded, and find nothing, obviously. However, I did completely forget about Melody. Oh man, that wasn't on purpose, I swear. But yeah, let's move on. In the weather monitoring station, I get all of my weapons back. And then I use the platinum chip to access the Securiturn bunker. Over here, as long as I can destroy everything in front of me faster than Primm Slim can catch up, we're fine. And these turrets are nothing compared to the Brotherhood ones. We are fine. This triggers level 10, I get speech to 75, put the rest of the points into guns and take the second toughness perk. The Securiturn army has been upgraded and Kaiser's all giggly.
I felt the ground shake a while ago.
Back to Yes Man, whose lazy ass didn't even bother waiting for me outside of the tops. He made me go back to Benny's room. Ugh. But yeah, I told him we can ignore all of the factions, that Mr. House is out of the picture and that we've already been to the fort. It's now time for him to make himself at home in the Lucky 38. He tells me that the Legion is going to attempt to assassinate Kimball. I tell him I don't care. And this leads us to the last quest before the second battle of Hoover Dam. That sounds a lot more complicated than it is, cause in reality I just have to fast travel back to the Eldorado substation. Get in, hoping not a single NCR member's inside, and then open up the Pip-Boy as soon as I get out so I can fast travel before any of them aggro. And I have like 15,000 caps, so let's go to the gun runners and pick a couple new toys. Especially in the form of ammo, but I also got an anti-material rifle. We're gonna have some good old fun with this one. Yes Man then informs us that the NCR no longer have a president that's alive, that the Legion started moving towards the dam and asks us if we're ready to go and take it all from under their noses, and we are. Once again, the strategy is to take care of everyone and everything before Primm Slim gets close to danger. The cons get a taste of the mysterious magnum, the howitzer explodes, and me and the NCR take care of the first 3 Centurions. I then equip some armor-piercing 308 for the Gobby and use that to clear the rest of them in this side of the dam. In the offices, a couple NCR heavy troopers don't want me anywhere near the control room, but through a 75 speech check, I can lie to them about Colonel Moore. They leave, we install another override module, this time so Yes Man can take control of the dam, and we decide that even though Primm Slim is great, having an army of Securiturns alongside him would be better. 2 Praetorians and 1 speech later, we've activated the Securiturn Armians. I had to push the one that keeps on following me until he let me through. In the east, the battle continues. I test the hollow point rounds and notice a Centurion in the distance. And since I was able to get up top the wall, I wandered, so yeah, to Hoover Dam. This, however, was a very stupid move. Not because there isn't a way out, of course there is, but it put me back on the west side of the dam and I had to go through the offices again. But oh well, now we know. And to the Legate's camp, we go. I take care of the first guy and one of the snipers using the Gobby. And then change to the anti-material rifles, incendiary rounds for some extra fun. Yeah, that's more like it. I then noticed that Primm Slim's just by the entrance of the camp. And I can't wait in this location to try and have him spawn by me. So yeah, something's telling me that this is very much possible. Anyways, how about a cocktail of bad decisions before Laniyus? Steam packs, Psycho, Mantats, Medics, Buff Out, and some explosive rounds for the anti-material rifle. Laniyus, he gets knocked down, which is a rare sight to behold. And then the second hit kills him and the 2 guys beside him. This was a bit overkill, wasn't it? This triggers level 12, nothing really matters anymore, and knowing a couple Legionnaires would be coming my way, I take out the missile launcher and completely and utterly annihilate them. I then go back to the gate. General Lee Oliver makes his grand entrance, doing the slowest of walks. He goes on to teach us nearly every single swear word of the English language. The cigar is a lie. I beat the ever-living shit out of the General and his Rangers. Attempt to softlock myself, cause that has happened before by mistake. And can you beat Fallout New Vegas while keeping Primm Slim alive? Yup. And check the playlists for more challenges and the channel for more videos. Leave a like and all that good stuff if you want to help me out, and I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Withall and to John Walker for their support of the channel. And to you, So, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, I hope I'll see you on the next one, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!
And I guess I'll see you around. We accomplished a lot together. It was fun. Take care.
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed. The courier, with the aid of Yes Man, drove both the Legion and the NCR from Hoover Dam, securing New Vegas's independence from both factions. With Mr. House out of the picture, part of the Securitron army was diverted to the Strip to keep order. Any chaos on the streets was ended. Quickly. Chaos became uncertainty, then acceptance with minimal loss of life. New Vegas assumed its position as an independent power in the Mojave. Preferring neither the best of the NCR nor the worst of the Legion, the courier was the woman responsible for a truly independent New Vegas. She had removed Mr. House from power over the Strip and broken the influence of the NCR and Caesar's Legion in the Mojave Wasteland.
With little law left in the wasteland, the Brooms continued to defend themselves against the prospectors and scavengers invading their territory.
After the courier ensured New Vegas remained free, the followers found that independent Vegas was even more unstable and violent than before. Old Mormon Fort became excessively burdened by the influx of patients, struggling to provide even the most basic of services.
With New Vegas's independence formally declared, Good Springs thrived. More travelers stopped by Good Springs on their way to and from the Strip, and the locals grew prosperous from the traffic.
The Kings retained their control of Freeside, and while they continued to favor the needs of locals, they tolerated the citizens of the defeated NCR.
The NCR, battered by the loss of the dam, were unable to devote any troops to retaking the correctional facility from the Powder Gangers. As a result, Powder Ganger raids on caravans became an unfortunate fact of life in the Mojave for years to come.
Armed with a wide array of improvised explosives and stolen weapons, the Vault 19 Powder Gang tormented the Mojave Wasteland for years. Citizens of the NCR were favorite targets, and they always suffered the worst fates.
After Hoover Dam, Sheriff Myers runs Primm with his own style of frontier justice. He deals with most folks fairly, but now and then someone winds up dead with little to no evidence against them.
And so the courier's road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.